Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter at Boink Studios and check out our Facebook page where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, hey! What is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 45 of the podcast, and if you're joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in. And to all of those involved, we extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading. Thanks for all your support. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. So how's everyone today? This is the show. My name's Tom. This is what I do. And I got to thank you again for tuning in with us this time around. A lot of news to cover in the world of WWE. It's not the WWE, just if I can just sort of add that. It's not the World Wrestling Entertainment, it's World Wrestling Entertainment. The only time I ever put the in front of it is I'm talking about the WWE superstars, but whatever. But people just are adamant about saying the WWE. It was the WWF. I'm hair splitting, aren't I? It's part of my personality. Unable to let things go. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I just gotta smash you straight in the mouth with a hard dose of reality, kind of like, you know, Ronnie Garvin with the hands of stone. You don't hear that analogy every day, do you? So yeah, this is, like I said before, this is the main event, and we're going to plug everything at the end of the show like we always do. But we do hope that you are tuning in to our sister podcast, which is Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. We recently got 2 brand new episodes up and running. Please go subscribe and download those today if you haven't done so quite yet. It's not just pro wrestling with us on those shows. It is also comic books, movies, and TV, and a whole lot of other stuff. Pop culture in general, man. Life. That's what we're talking about in the Comedy Action Hour. So please go check it out if you will. Well, tell you what, why don't we go ahead and do what we do here on the show. Let's get down to it. This time, the main event is WWE Fastlane and other news. Could that sound any more boring? I got to start working on the topics for the show, man. How they hitting you? Would you rather them be a little bit more flashy, that kind of thing? I mean, honestly, you just tell me what you want and I'll try to make it happen for you. I'm here for you. You know what I mean? So there you go. But as everyone knows, or as you should know by now, WWE Fastlane is coming up on Sunday, February 21st. And depending on when you listen to this, the event may or may not have already happened. It is that time again for that company, the road to WrestleMania. This is the last big event before Mania goes down on April 3rd. It's a big deal. There should be some really interesting things happen on this event. Whether or not they're going to, I don't know. As we all know that the main event roster is still depleted. There's still no Cena, no Rollins, no Orton, no Sting. Rumors abound in terms of what's actually going to happen at Fastlane, who may or may not be making a comeback, and how all that could lead to WrestleMania. It's a unique set of circumstances the company finds itself in. I don't know that WWE has ever seen this sort of drama and these sort of circumstances as they have in the past several months. It's been a very unique time for that company in a lot of ways, when the majority, I don't know about majority, but I say a good number of your main event talent is on the shelf. I mean, when's the last time that ever really happened for that company? I mean, it seems as though they've got more injured than they have actually stepping up. Maybe that's not being fair to the talent on hand. I mean, you guys got guys like Dolph and Kevin who are still doing what they do. But with the recent retirement of Daniel Bryan, and why don't we go ahead and cover that? Because I have yet to talk about it on the show. The last time we were together, in episode number 44, it was still unknown. That Monday Night Raw had not happened yet, in which Daniel hung up the boots. So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit before we get to Fastlane here. The retirement of Daniel Bryan is an extremely big deal in a lot of ways. He has been missing in action, so it's not like it's a shock to the system that he retired. I'm not saying that. I think that we all sort of saw it coming. We saw retirement, or I'll put it this way. I saw either retirement or a comeback in that company. I didn't see him going back to Ring of Honor. I didn't see him going to New Japan, even though a lot of other people speculated on it. I speculated on it too, to be honest with you, but I didn't see it happening. I just didn't think it was going to be a real possibility. I think he wants to end his career in WWE, which is exactly what he's done. In a column I posted on February 12th on my own blog, which is tomclarkbr.wix.com/blog. Please go give it a read when you can. That would be truly awesome of you. The column is all about Daniel Bryan's retirement. The first paragraph might get you because it starts out with, pro wrestling is fake. Nothing you see is really happening because no one really dislikes each other. They're all best friends behind the scenes. The moves aren't a big deal because there's no actual contact being made. And whenever you see blood, well, that's blood capsules. That's not real either. And all that, of course, is quite a bit of sarcasm from yours truly, because that's the kind of garbage I hear spewed out of the mouths of non-fans all the time. We're like Christianity, pro wrestling is, because it's like you either have believers or non-believers. That's what we have in pro wrestling. You either follow and you have passion, or you don't have anything at all. And I'm not in the business to save people. I'm in the business to minister to the current believers. And you know what? If we make a few new believers along the way, well, so be it. Just consider me your pro wrestling reverend. I'll take that. You know what I mean? I'll take that all day long. So, Reverend Tom, Preacher Clark is in the building, folks. So get ready for the Sermon on the Mount. But yeah, Bryan hung up the boots, and let's just be honest and call it for what it is. It's sad. It's everyone cried. Don't say you didn't. If you say you didn't, you lied. We all did. It was very hard to watch. A photo that WWE.com put out the day after, in which Daniel is visibly upset and he's squatting down and Bree's got his arm around him. And dude, if that doesn't make you feel for this guy, I mean, even if you're a non-fan, you got to feel something. It's this is his passion. Imagine the one thing that you want more than anything else, your passion in your life. You finally get to that, and then all of a sudden, it's completely taken away from you. You're told you can't do it anymore. I mean, that's, if someone came up to me today and said, you can no longer write, and we're taking it all away. No computer, no pad, no pen, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're done. You can't do this anymore. I can't imagine that. Would I still be happy in the rest of my life? Well, I mean, life has to go on, right? But at the same time, pro wrestling is my passion, and I can't imagine life without it, if I'm being honest with you. So, much different degree to what Bryan is going through, of course. 16 years in the business, in the ring, giving his blood, sweat, and tears, and doing everything in his power to make a good show for people. And the guy he's a class act. He's loyal, he's brave, he's fearless. His gimmick to me always remind me of, he's a good guy, but like he would be the first one to stand between you and a bully on the playground, even though that bully's bigger than he is, and probably you are too. You know what I mean? That's the kind of heart he always displayed. I mean, there's a lot of questions when he first got to that company in terms of, how are they going to get him over? I was one of those guys asking the same thing, and boy, it took a long time, didn't it? But when it finally happened, when he finally connected, it was off to the races, man. I mean, you couldn't hold the guy down. And that's the best thing about Bryan. He refused to take no for an answer. He just kept hanging in there and kept working hard. And, the cream always rises. Okay? I think that's one of the reasons why people like Cesaro as much as they do. If Cesaro was just a European heel and he wasn't that good in the ring, no one would care about Cesaro. Can we just be honest? But he's very good in the ring. He's extremely good. He's a good worker. So that shines through. And whenever that shines through, then you have fan support. That equals fan support. And we've stressed it a lot on the program here in the past, but you can't say it enough times, man, that people are coming back for the wrestling. And the wrestling is what gets guys over. Backstage spots, mic time, promos, all that stuff can help, and it encourages a positive outcome. But at the same time, man, if you can't go in the ring, you're going to die a slow death. And so it's no mystery that the top, few guys in the past few years, other than John, have been exceptionally good workers. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton. You know what I mean? So when you think about it in those terms, you can really see the trend, and it's a good trend. I'm happy about it. I couldn't be happier. I'm such a pro wrestling fan, man. I want the in-ring product to be top-notch. I want it to be as good as possible. And that's what we're looking at with today's WWE. There's a lot of guys, I don't want to say just like Bryan, but they have a similar mindset. Let's just get in the ring and tear the house down. Remember back in the day when the Four Horsemen did just that? That was their jam. The Four Horsemen's purpose on this planet was to put on the best show possible, to make their opponents look good, to look better than they possibly could with anyone else. It wasn't just Flair. It was Tully. It was Arn. It was Ole. Then it was Barry. And, that's what the Horsemen lived for. Because the Horsemen knew very early on. It's the same lesson that Shawn Michaels learned. It's the same lesson that Triple H learned. Is that if you give and give and give to your opponent and make him look as good as he can, then you, by example, are going to look amazing. Which is what happened. History will remember the good workers. And people can flock around John, and all due respect to John, people can flock around Roman, and all due respect to Roman, and not to bash anyone over the head here, but people can flock around Batista, and all due respect to Batista as well. But history will remember the talented in-ring performers. They'll also remember the guys that made the most money. Let's go ahead and be straight about it right now. And at the end of the day, it's about making money. And, I've said that before, and I've actually gotten some nasty email about that in the past. That, man, you make this sound, you're so shallow about it. Dude, here's where I'm coming from on this. When you watch an NFL game, does it ever occur to you the amount of training it takes to play an NFL game, the amount of training it takes to play one NFL game, the amount of punishment that these guys put their bodies through? And I understand they're wearing pads from head to foot, but at the same time, an amazing amount of punishment, a brutal, brutal game. And I mean, they've there's a lot of penalties, and there's things you can and can't do to the quarterback now, or whatever it is. But, still at the same time, it's still a brutal game. Pro wrestling can be a brutal sport when done in the hands of the wrong people, of course. But when it comes time to get paid, these guys deserve to get paid. Bottom line, and don't when the payoffs start coming in, your best talent, your most talented guys should get those payoffs. The guys that, guess what, brought the most people to the arena, put the most butts in the seats. Those are the guys that deserve the payoffs. And those are the guys that typically get the payoffs. So for anybody out there who has a problem with guys getting paid, well, he's not that good of a worker. He should have got more. Stop. The last guy I heard made a case like that was Punk, and he had a great case. But other than that, who can actually make a case like that? Certainly no one I know of. And if it can be made, I don't know who it is, and I'd love to hear it. So yeah, again, it's all due respect, but in my opinion, history will reflect who the most talented guys in the ring were, and Bryan was definitely one of them. We here at Boink Studios, by the way, and here at Tom Clark's Main Event, wish Bryan all the best. Dude, he's got a lot to live for, man. He's got a lot of life left. I mean, hopefully he'll be on this earth for a good long time. And got a family in the works at some point, and Bree's probably going to leave the company, which is, seems like the right move for her and her family at this point. And, dude, stay tuned with Bryan, man. He's got too much of a go get him attitude. I think you're going to be seeing him in other formats and other places at some point. I hope you do, because I'd like to have more Daniel Bryan. Can't get enough of that guy. So all the best to him. And please go check out my column on him. Over on my own blog. Again, that's tomcartbr.wix.com/blog, and read my thoughts on him. I've also written on him on Bleacher Report, which was also published on the same day, February 12th. WWE must follow Bryan's blueprint to develop next star, which is a whole different topic altogether, probably for a whole different podcast. But I had to go ahead and extend a congratulations on your career, and all the best in the future, because, man, he gave us a lot to remember. And what's your best Daniel Bryan moment? What's the biggest moment you think of his career? He points to the night on Monday Night Raw when the fans sort of hijacked the show and cheered him while John and Randy were trying to cut this terrible promo against each other. That was great, but for me, it was the night when Daniel turned on Bray Wyatt in the cage. To me, that was by far his biggest moment. If that company had any questions as to whether or not Daniel Bryan could be a bankable draw and how much support he really had, that did it right there. When he was lining up against across the ring from Bray, waiting on Bray to get up to go nail that kick, and he was leading the yes chant, in between the yes chants, you could hear a pin drop. I mean, that's how in tune. I got goosebumps right now, man. I'm like The Rock coming out, showing you my arm. Oh, my God, it's like right now. It's crazy. This is why I love the business, because of moments like that, because of moments where they just draw you in and make you believe and make you just have the best time in your life, and just it's a gripping drama. What kind of gripping drama are we going to get at Fastlane? Segue, by the way. Fastlane, of course, as we said before, is coming up on the 21st, and let's go ahead and get to the match card. As of this recording, there be 7 matches booked as we speak. So let's go ahead and talk about it. We just talked about Kevin and Dolph. Oh, let's just do it some more. Kevin Owens defending his Intercontinental Championship, which, by the way, was recently won on Monday Night Raw, against the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, which a lot of people think has opened the door to Dean winning the match at Fastlane. I think that'd be an interesting thing, man. I really do. We'll get to that here in a bit. Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. Kevin and Dolph have had some good matches. Kevin is a talented guy. We all know Dolph's pedigree in WWE. He's their workhorse. He is their workhorse. It's a thankless job. Can I be honest with you? We got to hope that his wallet's getting thanked pretty hard right about now, because it should be. His bank account should be nice, because he helps carry the load, and maybe not in the past several months, because it's obvious they've slipped him back down. It's a shame. I don't want that to happen for Dolph. Can I just be honest with you right now? And maybe I'm just hung up on formalities, but Dolph Ziggler, dude, from day one. I remember the day that he came out and told everyone who he was. Remember he was shaking hands backstage in that company? I was like, God, that's the worst name I've ever heard. I have nothing to even compare that to. You know what I mean? I just thought it was terrible. I still don't like it. I still to this day don't like it. Dolph Ziggler. I just can't stand it. And to me, I don't think it's done him any favors. When you look at the guys they've put on TV, they put on the talk show circuit, as it were. Roman Reigns doesn't sound goofy to me. It sounds like a good, strong name, in my opinion. Roman Reigns, Dave Bautista, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Game, right? Even Paul Levesque doesn't sound that bad, honestly. Daniel Bryan, okay? Seth Rollins, right? But CM Punk. I mean, good, like names you can't forget. And I guess I'm answering my own question right now in terms of the name Dolph Ziggler. It's not a name you're going to forget anytime soon, which I guess is kind of the point. But it all harkens back to the Mark Wahlberg flick, and man, it's leaving me at the moment. Isn't that terrible? Old age is a terrible thing. Boogie Nights. Thank you very much. But yeah, that I don't know, man. I just the name bothers me. I just don't know how over you can get with a name like that in terms of the mainstream media. And maybe I'm dead wrong about that, and if so, I apologize. There's no offense intended. I don't want to get hung up on nonsense formalities, as I often do sometimes. But Dolph it's a thankless job. He's nowhere near title contention. The only reason he's near Intercontinental title contention is because they gave the belt back to Kevin on Raw, and now you got this title match, and Dolph's not going to win it, I don't think. Kevin is still catching a lot of grief. Kevin is good in the ring, just as Dolph is. Kevin has the ability to to draw you in and make you love what he's doing in the ring, as Dolph has always been able to do. Owens has personality. Dolph has charisma. I think it's kind of a different thing. Owens' best attribute about him is his ability to get into character and make you believe he really doesn't care about you at all. He's such a great heel. Never turn Kevin face. Anyone out there working in the wonderful world of WWE, never turn him face. It's don't ever do it. It's a completely horrendous idea. Kevin Owens needs to be healed from here to doomsday and back. I mean, seriously, man. Kevin is still catching grief. Why is Kevin catching grief? Because of his body. Because Kevin is still fat. Kevin's fat today. He was fat when he came in. Now, here's the thing. Is the guy hitting the gym? I would dare say yes. Are the results slow and forthcoming? I would say yes. Here's my problem, and I've said this on the show before, and I got a little bit of heat for it, and it's totally fine, but I stick to my guns. And this is nothing. I'm not one of those guys that's going to bash him and call him names and say, hey, fatty, do something. I'm not doing that, so I don't want that to do. I mean, I'm a big guy too. At the same time, let me just put it to you this way. If you want to be in that company in 2016 and you want to be the champ, you want to be the top guy, you got to look a little bit better than what he looks right now. And everybody wants to bring up Mick Foley, don't they? Everybody wants to bring up CM Punk. The comparison with Punk is, well, Punk doesn't look like a wrestler, but Punk was in good shape. So stop with that. And stop bringing up Foley every time a guy that has weight on him tries to get up the ladder. And don't even bring up Bray to me right now. Now, here's the thing about Bray. I think Bray is in really good shape. We'll go back and look at him now versus when he came in. He's in much better shape now than he was before. The guy, his arms are better. He's never going to have Lex Luger's body. Let's just be straight. But guess what? He doesn't need to. All right. But Kevin Owens, I'm a prize fighter. I got an easier time believing Brock is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if Brock had that body type, then fine. I mean, if Brock looked like Tank Abbott, for God's sake, then fine, so be it, whatever. But he doesn't, okay? And what you have to understand from a pro wrestling standpoint, and I've been in a lot of locker rooms over the years, man. I've been in locker rooms with guys who have no chance of getting to WWE, okay? And I've been in locker rooms with guys that have a lot of opportunity to get to WWE. Okay? Straight up. And I've seen it all. And I'll be honest with you. The guys that really want it shows. Okay? They have a commitment to getting better on the mic. They have a commitment to getting better in the ring. And yes, they have a commitment to their bodies. When I first saw Stephen the Fever Walters in Hendersonville, I said, this guy has a commitment, and you can really tell. I mean, it was obvious to everyone in the building that this kid wanted it. Stephen the Fever Walters is now Dash Wilder in NXT. Okay, so I think he's doing pretty darn well. And it just goes to show you, man, that no matter what walk of life you're in, no matter what occupation you choose or what your passion is, what your chosen profession, you have to be committed to it, or it's not going to work. I don't care if you're working for somebody else or if you're self-employed. You have to have a level that you hold yourself to apart from what that company holds you to in order to succeed, because you have to have your own set of expectations. And anyone that looks in the mirror and sees what Kevin Owens sees in this day and age, I don't understand how they can be happy with that. Foley is not a good comparison, and I hate that comparison. And I love Foley. Foley was a once-in-a-lifetime talent. He didn't look like a star. He did not sound like a star at times, if I can say that. But man, his promos were off the hook. His commitment to what he was doing was unmatched. I mean, he would turn in a better match than guys in that locker room who look like runway models. You know what I mean? Who had physiques of Greek gods, for crying out loud. And he could put on just as compelling of a match, and maybe more so than those guys could. Mick Foley is and was a storyteller. There's a big difference. A storyteller that became a professional wrestler. Okay? That's how I look at Foley. Foley's a storyteller. Always has been, always will be. I don't know that Kevin is that level of storytelling right now. And again, when you prop yourself up as the prize fighter, the big fight guy, as Brock Lesnar is, you better bring it and you better look the part. And I say all of that with the greatest amount of respect in the world for Kevin and for every guy in that locker room that gets in the ring and puts their lives on the line. It's not getting personal, man. It's not about getting personal and name calling. It's just one guy's observation. And you know what? If I'm dead wrong and the WWE Championship is around his waist in 6 months, hey, so be it, man. I mean, I'll applaud that. I'm good with that. Because, this is the day and age of the guy in that company that came up the hard way, came up on the indie circuit. I mean, Kevin fits the mold, right? Daniel and CM Punk and Seth Rollins, he fits the mold. So, and Cesaro as well. But can I ask you a question? What's the difference between Kevin and all those other guys? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there to you. And take that and do with it what you will. I like this match, but I like Kevin to win. I don't think Dolph's going to come out with a win here. I don't think at the end of the day it's going to matter because I think the match itself is going to be extremely good because these guys have really good chemistry, so I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it, actually. Moving on here, folks, the aforementioned Brie Bella taking on Divas champion Charlotte. Okay, so how are you feeling about Charlotte with her dad, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, at ringside? Read a lot of stuff about that in terms of, Rick is this, he's that, he's a distraction, he's not helping, whatever. Dude, he is Ric Flair. He is Ric Flair, and you're not. So shut up. Okay? If anyone on this planet deserves a place in that company, it's Ric Flair. Okay? Don't talk to me about anybody else. I don't want to hear it. Ric Flair deserves a spot on TV anytime he wants it. All right? How many doors did he open for guys to even be inspired enough to even become wrestlers in the first place? Not just Shawn and Triple H. We always hear those two stories specifically. But, dude, there's a ton of guys that watched Flair as a kid and said, I want to do that. So, this guy is going to go down despite whatever happened with him in his personal life to this day. Ric Flair is the Nature Boy. I mean, period. There will never be another Ric Flair. Think about that for a second. There will never be another Daniel Bryan, but there will never be another Ric Flair. And that's saying something. Rick was everything. Remember what I gave you before about the big money guys versus the guys who were in shape and could work? Dude, he was all of that. How often do you see that? You don't see that at all much anymore. I mean, seriously. Some would argue that after Bryan, there's not really anyone. I mean, is that bad? I mean, I don't know, dude. And Bryan wasn't the best on the mic, but he didn't have to be because he had the ability to draw you in. So I say let him be on the card anytime he wants to. I love Flair, man. I always will. And by the way, I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Flair country. Represent, okay? So, but no, Charlotte is defending the championship against Brie Bella. I like Brie to take the belt. I'll be honest with you. Because I think it would be a sentimental win. And those are always good. The touchy-feely wins are always good. Wouldn't it be cool if Daniel got to come out and celebrate with her when she won the belt? Wouldn't that be awesome? And then Flair and Daniel maybe have a little push and shove situation going on. I'm not saying all that's going to go down, but I think it'd be a really cool moment. I've been one of the most outspoken critics of the Bella Twins since the moment they got to that company, and for various really good reasons, in my opinion. Because of the way they were portrayed when they first got there, the way the division has become all about them, not necessarily their doing. I don't think they held the company hostage and said, you better put us on TV or else. But, so I'm not going to shy away from any of that. But at the same time, I think Brie has something that her sister doesn't. They're two entirely different women in the ring in terms of who they are, how they work, how they get over. Because Brie has the underdog because of, her size, because she's perky, because she looks like a high school cheerleader. Do you know what I'm saying? Nikki Bella looks like the prom queen. And believe it or not, it's two different things in this company. You know what I mean? She looks like Brie looks like the good Midwest girl, and Nikki looks like she just stepped off the runway in Paris. I mean, I'm just saying. And Nikki has an easier time being heel than Brie does. Brie as a heel is a hard sell for me. I've never bought it. I never felt it. But Nikki, I can. So two entirely different things. So Brie has the ability to get over, and I think she'll be over from the minute she hits the ring at Fastlane. I really do. I think it'll be a good match. Both of them can work. Anybody out there spewing forth hate about this, let it go, man. I think it's going to be good. So we'll see what happens there. But who do I like to win? I'll go with Brie, dude. That's who I'm going with. Suck it, haters. I don't care. How about another Divas match? Are you up for that? Becky Lynch and the boss, Sasha Banks. By the way, whenever you do something really good or like something cool happens or like you're the man, just yell out Sasha Banks. I do it with my 7-year-old constantly. He actually started pedaling a bicycle for the first time by himself. Took the training wheels off. It was his idea. He wanted to do it. I didn't even hold on to his seat. He starts pedaling for the first time. I'm like, Sasha Banks! That's the truth, man. I mean, it's so funny. I'm proud of that kid. But the boss, Sasha Banks, teaming up with Becky to take on Naomi. I like pronouncing people's names incorrectly, if you notice. And Tamina. It's good, right? I think this will be better than what you believe it will. I think that Naomi and Tamina have an edge to them. You know what I mean? They're not a glossy, pretty tag team. You know, no offense. They have an edge to them. They can be a little bit more roughhouse. Sasha's gorgeous. Becky's gorgeous. So, I mean, they're going to be, you know, the perky babyface combo. But at the same time, Sasha's still technically heel. So they got all this friction in between themselves and all this other stuff. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But it's about time Sasha had something happening. Isn't that nice for a change? Hi, WWE. Remember Sasha Banks? Oh, my God, Sasha Banks. I mean, you know, call yourself the boss. And you were by far the best in NXT in a division full of talented girls down there. Get to the main roster and guess what you do? Whole bunch of nothing. Because the transition from NXT to WWE is not what everyone might think it is. I mean, Sasha's been underused. Sasha's become like the Dolph Ziggler of women's wrestling. Like, why don't they do anything with her? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what people's opinions have been. Hey, me too. I wrote that column. I wrote a bunch of columns about it. And, you know, I don't write as much about divas. Want to know why? Because, my head starts to hurt after ramming it into the wall 600 times during the course of a week. Because it won't get you anywhere. Nothing changes. And when the change finally does happen, it's like they're talking down to you. They have Sasha talk about, I've been sitting in the back this whole time. Well, that's what we've been saying, right? So you know someone at some point told her to say that. I mean, or it came from her head. But why did it come from her head? From social media. Because, and you know, people can bash social media all they want to, and they should. There's some terrible people out there online. Just some real, you know, real morons, dude. At the same time, man, there's fans on social media that truly want the best for these guys and these girls, who truly do appreciate what Sasha brings to the table and want to see her succeed. The same fans who will buy merchandise and buy more of it when she wins the belt and does this, that, and the other. They're keeping Sasha and Charlotte separated, and they should, because they're saving that for WrestleMania when they will face each other and Sasha wins the title. We all know that, right? So I like Brie to win the belt, but it's a sentimental win. If I had to say who's definitely going to win it, it's going to be Charlotte. But because again, they're setting up, and they need that reign to be continued. I think a loss to Brie would hurt her in terms of losing to Sasha at WrestleMania. But you know, legit boss over here, by the way. But no, I think this match will be better than what a lot of people think it's going to be. So we'll see what happens there. Who do I pick to win? Lynch and Sasha, of course. Duh. So, we have a segment happening at Fastlane, the Cutting Edge Peep Show, which is a mouthful and sounds ridiculous. Will feature guest The New Day, and this is going to be fun. If anyone can get as many laughs or get over on New Day on the mic, it's going to be Edge and Christian. I love this idea. I love this. They need to do this more often. I miss Edge. I miss Christian. I miss them together, man. They're a feel good, and they're not even a nostalgia act at this point. I don't think of them in those terms. You know, they're not like a tag team that you know wrestled 30 years ago, and they're still touring the Legion halls and armies. And all due respect to those guys, by the way. Go do your thing. but I don't view them as nostalgia act. They're a feel-good act. They were then and they are now. And I like that. I like that a lot. So I think it's going to be entertaining. I don't think it's going to come to blows because it really can't. I mean, I guess it could come to push and shove and stuff, but I think it's going to be a good segment. And I hope it's for something more than just 2 or 3 laughs. Then we move on to the next match. I hope it's really highly entertaining. I don't know how it couldn't be, right? Because, the New Day, New Day, dude, are as over today as they were yesterday. It's crazy. And I've been on the record more than one time in my writing and on the show and in various other places. The New Day is WWE's hottest act, and no one's replaced him yet. I don't see anyone on the horizon going to replace him, so we'll see what happens. But, no, man, I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be funny. And, we get a lot. Well, I do too. I'm not going to lie to you. We get really wrapped up in the wins and losses and who should do this and who should be that or who should get that or whatever. But at the end of the day, we should be having fun with this, yes? I mean, isn't that what pro wrestling is about, is just having fun? I know it is for me, so let's have fun, watch this segment, and just get a few laughs, and then we'll move on to the next match. So, United States Champion Kalisto defending in a 2 out of 3 falls match against Alberto Del Rio. This has the ability to steal the show. And I'll say it right now. I like Kalisto. He's fast. He's young. He's energetic. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of heart. Alberto, for my money, pound for pound, is still one of the best heels. He may not get an opportunity to really do that now for whatever goofy reason they have. But, man, he is fully capable of healing out and making you absolutely despise him. He's really good at that. And he looks the part, too. By the way, has Del Rio ever looked better physically? Oh, my God. He looks great, right? And that's helping his cause a lot, I'll be honest with you. He can get booked anywhere in the world, not just because of his background, but look at the guy. He's got the whole package, man. So I'm looking forward to this. Have these guys worked each other a lot? Yeah. And guess what? I don't care. I'm still looking forward to this match. Again, I think it's going to steal the show. I'm dead serious, man. And there's another match coming up that's, hey, whoa, how can you say that, Tom? But I'm just giving you my take, man. I like Kalisto to win. I think this will be the end of the rivalry. I think they'll move on and do something else. Kalisto, and I've said this before in the columns recently on Bleacher Report, I think is where I wrote it. Kalisto is this generation's Rey Mysterio. And I know that's a silly, goofy comparison because, oh my God, Tom, he's short and wears a mask and he's a luchador. Well, duh. That's not just it. Kalisto is an underdog. Obviously, the minute you hit a pro wrestling company and you're that height, you're an underdog, man. Because cruiserweight wrestling, there's no money in cruiserweights, I'll be honest with you. All the money's in heavyweights. And, the United States Championship is a heavyweight title. So, there's money in it there because of that. But at the same time, you got to consider Kalisto an underdog because of his size. But he is this generation's Rey Mysterio. And I'm looking forward to this match, man. I think Kalisto has a bright future ahead of him in that company if he's booked properly and they keep him away from a lot of super heavyweights. They can do a couple just to get him over, but nothing more than that. So just let the guy shine. Let him do what he can do. Let him do it against guys that he can work with, and they can work with him. And I think he's going to have a good run in that company. I hope he does anyway. That's what I want for him. So I like Kalisto to go over in this match. We're moving on now, folks. We have 3 matches left on the card. Ryback, Big Show, and Kane. I don't know what you would. This is the Hell's Demons. I don't know. This is the Machines. I don't have a name for you. I don't know. This is the Ryback Kane Show. I don't know. I got nothing. The Titans. That's what Bray's calling them, right? Ryback, Big Show, and Kane versus the Wyatt family. Okay, so here we go. We assume it's going to be the boys and not Bray involved in this match. I think that's a safe assumption to make, yes. So I like this match for several different reasons. One, there's something about big muscled up guys beating the crap out of each other in order to get over. Those are fun matches, especially when you have Luke Harper who was so good in the ring and so underrated and doesn't get that much. Braun Strowman, who, in my opinion, is getting better. It's a point that Big Show made recently on Steve Austin's podcast that he thought Strowman was getting better every day. I have to agree with him. I think he is. The key to Strowman is don't go too fast. And I don't say that to be silly, but anytime a big guy tries to move ahead of what he's comfortable doing, he's going to screw up, and you can't have that. It's the old KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. Slow down. You know what I mean? Fast-paced matches are great. Daniel was a master at that when his offense, high-octane offense. I always called him controlled chaos because that's what he was. But there are dangers in working that fast. We all know well-documented dangers in working that fast. Not the least of which is you're going to screw up and hurt yourself or hurt someone else or ruin the tempo of the match and slow everything down and get the exact opposite result of what you're wanting to begin with. And that's just one guy's opinion on it, one guy's viewpoint. But Braun Strowman, again, take it slow, be easy, do what you know how to do what you're good at, and keep working on the areas that you need to keep working on. And I think he's a work in progress. I think Strowman has a brighter future than a lot of people believe right now. I think that the Undertaker Strowman rumor got out, and he got a lot of heat for it, and the idea got shot to pieces. And, WWE, I think, saw the handwriting on the wall and said, oh, God, don't book this. This is an atrocious idea. But that's nothing that Braun did wrong. So everyone just needs to calm down, honestly, man. Again, he's got an upside, and Eric Rowan has an upside too. Eric Rowan doesn't get the credit that Luke Harper gets, but Eric looks the part, and Eric is actually pretty agile for a guy his size. He's up on his feet really quickly, and he's perfect in the Wyatt family. Back when they were talking about splitting these guys up, it worked for 10 minutes. Dude, they belong together, at least for the short term, and we'll see what happens. They're always going to be known as the Wyatt family, you know what I mean? That's their legacy they'll leave behind, despite what the four guys do, from this year, whether they stay together that next year, whatever it is, they're always going to have that legacy of coming in together and, being a unit of 3 to 4 guys. So I think that's a good thing. And then you have Bray, of course, the Eater of Worlds, the guy who should be this generation's Mick Foley, in terms of mentally and his character and his cerebral approach to the business. But again, not really happened for him yet. There was talk about Bray versus Brock. The talk was all among fans, I think. So that match may still happen at WrestleMania, I mean, honestly. But, they need a big money match. They need a big time money match for Brock Lesnar. They need a guy that's... And this is the corner they've painted themselves in with Brock, and we can touch on this later. The corner they paint themselves in with Brock is that he only works top money guys, and or guys that are going to be top money guys. That's what he does. And they've not shown any commitment to Bray Wyatt as a top money guy. So until they do, I don't know how much this match makes sense, to be honest with you. I just don't see it at all. So maybe I'm wrong, and the match will happen. It'll be good, and I'll be eating my words. I'll be fine with that, by the way. I don't mind being wrong at all. Not if it's entertaining. So there you go. I like the Wyatt family to win this match. I do like Ryback. I do like Show, and I've always liked Kane. But I think that the Wyatt family go over in this match. I think the promos they've been cutting about taking down the titans of the company and taking down the heroes and everything, I think they're going to take down 3 more titans on Sunday, and we'll see what happens from that point on. But I do like the Wyatt family to win this match. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Remember the other match I talked about earlier that how in the world could you believe that Kalisto versus Del Rio is going to outshine this match? Well, here it is. It's number 3 in the Trinity. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. What would Tom do in this scenario? I am so glad you asked, because I do have an answer for you. If you will go to my Bleacher Report page, you can read about it in full. And that is best booking options for AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho feud. And it got some pretty good reception and got some pretty good feedback there. I believe it was published on February of the 9th. And here was the blueprint I laid out for this rivalry. And it's nothing invented, crazy, original. Something you probably already thought of by now. But I did predict that after their match on Raw, in which Styles won, that Jericho would come back on SmackDown to beat him, and he did, and then they would have a match at Fastlane to decide, the ultimate winner, the guy that would win the heat. And I predicted that the match would break down. It'd be a time limit draw or a disqualification or a double count out or whatever the case may be. There'd be no winner at all. That way, the fourth match and the final match in this series could take place at WrestleMania. And I think it's the most fitting way to go out for these two guys. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 32. And AJ goes over. Won't it mean more to you then? Do you see what I'm saying? Chris got a lot of heat in the past several years for being that guy that's, putting over other talent. And my comment to that has always been, he's a veteran. He's a ring-wise veteran with a lot of years served. What else is he supposed to be doing? Winning championships? He's not Triple H. Sorry, couldn't resist, man. It's who I am. But people bash him for that. And I'm like, dude, that's kind of what he wants to do, right? He wanted to work with Bray. He wanted to work, with other guys and help them get to the next level, man. He wanted to work with AJ Styles, obviously. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with AJ Styles? That's got to be a good, easy match in terms of, man, AJ gives so much. You know what I mean? So AJ, another guy that gets it. A ring-wise guy that came up on the indie circuit. Another Daniel Bryan in terms of his background. Look at all the success that AJ's had. He's a very, very smart guy. And, we'll see what happens on Sunday. But I do predict this match is going to break down. I don't think you're going to see a winner at all. And I think they're going to be up for WrestleMania, which, I'd buy that for $1. Actually, I'll buy it for $9.99. So, by the way, if you don't have WWE Network, shameless plug time. Why exactly? You're a wrestling fan? There's no commitment, right? Is there commitment now? Dude, I've been on board since the day they went live. I'll be honest with you. And it's gotten exponentially better since then. I mean, the platform is pretty easy to work with now. It's tough on Xbox. It lags. Maybe it's just my internet. I don't know, man. But it's very simple on the phone. On the laptop, it's easy. So, it's a great idea. And I'll be honest with you, man. Again, if you're not a pro wrestling fan, you've got to be out of your mind. So to not have WWE Network. But AJ versus Chris Jericho. And it's probably going to be the match tonight. Let's go ahead and call it for what it is. And it very well, it should be. It absolutely should be. I love the fact that AJ's there. And the talk about him not getting treated right, all that was happening within like 3 days of him being there. Because people have to destroy stuff and bring you down, man. But let's just give you an upper right here and tell you I think he's doing just fine. So I'm looking forward to this match, obviously. That brings us to the main event, man. Let's talk about it now. The Beast, Brock Lesnar, versus the big dog, Roman Reigns. Or the big dog, is that right? Something like that. And Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. So, the winner of this match gets the game, which, by the way, the long-standing rule in professional wrestling is you have to defend your title at least once every 30 days. Well, not so much now. You just got to be the boss, and you ain't got to defend nothing, okay? I wrote a column for Bleacher that was published on February 16th. Triple H's booking diminishes WWE World Heavyweight title. By the way, straight up truth. Can I be honest with you? It's a straight up truth, man. And there's no other way to call it, dude. There's no other way to call it because Hunter's just not there. He shows up and he walks down the ramp with the belt on his shoulder. And he just stands there. Dude, I can do that. You can do that. You know what I mean? I wasn't a very happy guy when I wrote this column. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't very happy about it. I'm still not happy about it. I want my world champions to be there. I want them to be there, man. And I just, is it Hunter's fault? No, I'm not laying blame on Hunter's door to stop it with the shovel and all that other nonsense. I'm not saying that at all, man. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate. It's a little silly. And, let's just call it for what it is. The company didn't have a WrestleMania main event to sell this year. They just didn't. No John, no Randy, no Seth, no Sting. They didn't have a WrestleMania main event to sell this year, so they had to put the belt on Hunter. They just didn't have no choice, man. So, no, I don't see it, dude. And I don't have to like it, I don't suppose. I don't have to be in love with it. Perfectly fine, because I'm not. But, anyway, the guy that wins at Fastlane is going to get Hunter. Basically, everybody thinks it's going to be Roman. What I like about this right now is that there's really no way to know. You know, as a pro wrestling analyst, and as a guy that does this stuff all the time, I have to be smart enough to be able to see 2 steps in front of me. Because if I didn't have that ability, then I probably wouldn't be doing this. Because, this is what's needed for the job. You have to be able to look past today. And so I pride myself on being able to do that. I can watch a show and I can tell you what's going to happen next. And does it ruin it for me sometimes? Yeah, and it's kind of a drag for other people to watch with me. I got to kind of keep my mouth shut so no one knows what's going to happen. Then when it happens, everyone's popping off of it. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I kind of saw it. You know what I mean? So I can be like a drag, I suppose. But I'll be honest with you, I don't see this right now. I think they could work this any of the 3 ways. I will tell you this, for anybody saying that Brock should win, let's not forget how much people hated that rivalry with Brock and Triple H. They had 3 matches, remember? And Brock ended up winning the rivalry. Extreme Rules 2013, right? And a lot of people at that time hated it. They're like, God, another match? Oh. Don't believe me? Go back and look. Watch crowd response and stuff. People were not into this. You know what I mean? They weren't into this rivalry. I was the guy that said after 2 matches, I said, you know what? I think there's a third coming. And sure enough, there was. And people didn't want it then. Now, the benefit here is that it would be a one-off match. You know what I mean? There would not be a return match between these 2 guys. Number one, because I don't think Hunter could take it physically. Well, he said in interviews at the time that working Brock Lesnar was akin to like being in a war. Just, something to that effect. And it is, I'm sure. So, I mean, for anyone out there that's begging to see that match, let's not forget what you guys were saying 3 years ago. Because I sure haven't. Okay? But they could work it with Roman, of course. And that's what everybody thinks. Because Roman's the heir apparent to John Cena. To this day, people are still saying that. Hell, I'm still saying that, man. What are you going to do? But, that's what people think. And, I mean, Roman's putting in the work. Can't get over to save his life. Why? Because they keep putting him in impossible situations that he can't get over in. And they're not doing him any favors, man. And to this day, I say that part of the reason that company is in the shape it's in with Roman as their new top guy is the fact they keep doing this crap to him. They have Brock lay him out. Well, the minute that he touches Brock, he's going to heal out again, and he did, and it's not working. People don't believe in Roman like they should at this point. If you want a top guy to become your top babyface and be the same guy, people need to be willing to follow that guy to the gates of hell like they were Stone Cold Steve Austin, like they were Hulk Hogan. And they're just not. They're not. They don't want to. They don't want to go anywhere with Roman. They're going to sit back and watch the car crash again with Roman in the ring. That's what they want to see. And whose fault is that? It's not Roman's. It's the company's fault, dude. Wake up. Pay attention to what's going on in front of you, man. I'm serious. It's the company's fault. It always has been. They're the ones that paint themselves in the corner with Roman. They're the ones that have to pay the price now. This is why they're in the shape they're in right now, because they're left scratching their heads going, what do we do now? Well, the only thing that they can do is what they did with Daniel, and that's have Roman win and then have him beat the top heel in the company, which, by the way, is not even a full-time wrestler anymore, and that's Triple H. Beating Hunter at Mania is like getting the blessing from on high. That's their formula now for crowning a new champion at WrestleMania, and I don't, Roman's not an underdog. Daniel's an underdog. There's a big difference between 190 and 260 or 250, whatever it is Roman weighs. So I'm sorry, I don't see it, man. I don't freaking see it at all. But if they go that route, I won't be surprised. I won't be upset. You're not going to hear any boos from me. You will hear boos in Texas Stadium, AT&T Stadium in Dallas, when Roman faces faces Triple H for the championship. That's what you'll hear, because that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? He'll get booed out of the place, and if for that company's sake, he should, because they've screwed the pooch on this, and I hold steadfast to that. The third guy in this match, let's don't forget about him. They're trying to get him some heat, trying to get him over, is Lunatic Fringe. He's a dark horse, obviously. The dark horse, Dean Ambrose. I kind of like that, actually. Let's use that. He's not as crazy as much anymore as he is the guy that's not supposed to win, right? But, I like Dean a lot. I really do. I like him more than I ever have. And I've always appreciated what he brings to the table. If you want to stand out in this business, you have to do what no one else is doing. You have to do something different. He looks different. He sounds different. He has a different personality than anybody on Monday Night Raw, and that's why he stands out, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. That's what you want. You have to be unique in your personality. If you're running the same shtick that four other guys are doing, dude, I've been to shows. I've been to like indie shows and stuff where it's an endless parade of guys that are oiled up and shave their chests. And after like the third or fourth guy, I'm thinking, wow, I don't even remember the first guy's name. Do you know what I mean? Or sometimes the bodies could be terrible or whatever it is, but I still don't know who anyone is because they're basically all the same guy with different shirt on or different trunks on. That's not Dean, man. Not in the slightest. So, could Dean win? I'll bite. I say Dean could win at Fastlane. If I had to pick it right now, I'd say it's going to be Roman because I think WWE is going to move ahead and do whatever they want to do, despite how it's actually going to get over with the paying audience, because they're stubborn and they have a plan and they don't care what you think about their plan. So, nan boo boo on you, right? So, I don't know. But this match could go any way, man. Any of the three ways. I'm picking Roman just because I think it's a safe pick. My outside pick is Dean. I'd like to see Dean versus Triple H. I think it'd be one of those matches where like it'd be a lot better than you think it'd be. And I'm gonna tell you right now, bash Hunter for all you want. Hunter would make him a star. Are you kidding me? Dean Ambrose would not get booed in AT&T Stadium. There's no way. There's no way, man. And just think about it, the trilogy, the Trinity, the Shield, all three men as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Isn't that cool? Because you know what we wanted? We wanted Roman versus Seth versus Dean. That can't happen. So this is what we're going to get instead. Isn't that cool? I like it. So you know what? I'm liking it more and more as time goes on. I'm warming up to the idea even more than I was before. All right, fine. I'll say it. Let's go Dean Ambrose for the win. I think Triple H can make him a star in one night, man. I think Dean will rise to the occasion. I think it'll be an amazing night for him. Look how they popped when Seth won the belt. Well, they didn't want Roman to win at WrestleMania 31, let's be honest. But they don't want Roman to win at WrestleMania 32 either, right? And that would make Roman turn heel. And then it would be the heel Roman Reigns going after Dean for the championship. I don't know. That's just my take, man. I like to see Dean come away with a win. You got to ask yourself, where does a company think the most money can be made? Because that's the bottom line here. And again, call it shallow, whatever you want to call it. But you got to go with the guy that can make the most money, sell the most tickets, put the most butts in the seats. Whoever the company thinks that guy is the one that's going to go over. Bottom line. Well, there's your Fastlane card, folks. That's it to this point. I assume that's going to be it because as of this recording, there's only a few days left. So we'll see what happens. But they could always add a match. They've been known to add matches online, not tell anybody. Then you tune into the show and you're like, wait, this is happening? What? So, I don't know, man. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good event. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'll be there watching, you know. What do you think? What's your feelings on it? You can always let me know. We can always talk about it, man. I like the feedback. I love debate, so we can do that. Let's talk about a few more other things here before we take it home. The Titus O'Neil debacle. Pushgate. Or Pullgate. I don't know. I just made all that. I don't know. I'm just trying to feel a part of it, man. I just want to be connected. So, you saw the footage. I'm going to assume you did. Titus playfully grabbing the chairman and CEO of the largest pro wrestling company on the freaking planet. Wow. I mean, are you boys? Do you play ball in the gym on the weekends? Do you go golfing? Do you babysit his kids? I don't think any of that stuff's happening with these guys. But Titus thought it'd be a pretty good idea to grab him and, then get suspended. 60 days is a bit harsh. If you don't know, the 60-day suspension is for the second offense of the wellness policy. Wow. He also got fined like $10,000 or something. Here's the thing about WWE. They will make an example whenever they need to. Okay? That's why they fired Daniel Bryan after the Nexus thing. That's why they do a lot of things they do. They got to make an example. They got to satisfy sponsors. They got to satisfy the investors. Those investors saw the chairman being pulled. Now, Vince could have laughed it off. He could have said, you know what? Titus is a great guy. He needs to know his place, but he's a great guy. And Steve Austin sounded off on his own podcast talking about, it can't happen. You can't disrespect the boss. I completely agree with all that. 60 days is a bit much, don't you think? Batista's even come out and told Titus, or supposedly told Titus, that he should ask for his release. Let's all calm down, because what I hope that will come from this is that this can be spun in Titus's favor. And by the way, he'll be back before 60 days is up, I think. I think that cooler heads will prevail and they'll lift the suspension maybe after 20 or so. That's just my take. But I think that this needs to be spun in Titus's favor because they need some more top guys. They need some more main event guys. Titus is big. He's God, look at that body, man. He's got charisma. He's got personality. He needs to be allowed to flex his muscles in more ways than one. And I think this could actually do it for him. The company has been amazing in the past at taking real life heat and turning it into storyline and using it and adapting it. They did it with Matt and Edge, and they've done it in several other places over the years. And they should do it here too, for sure. Because I'm not saying that Titus is like, oh, Titus just deserves this, it deserves that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that company needs some main event guys. Some big, main event guys. Titus's big, raw talent can be worked with, can be shaped, can be molded. And he will go along with it. It's obvious he's having fun. This is obviously what he wants to do for his life. And, they use him in a lot of charity functions and take him on the road. And they have him do things in the public, mainstream media. And he's become a great ambassador for them. You're just going to take him off the road for 60 days and not have him do anything? And because he, did he mess up? Yeah, he messed up. Did we all mess up? But we all deserve a second chance. He'll get a second chance. Don't nobody be crying for Titus O'Neil right now. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. Everyone calm down. Like I said, cooler heads will prevail and everything will be fine. Is Vince an egomaniac? Yeah, probably. He couldn't get to where he is today without having, an ego the size of Texas. Can I be honest with you? But you have to if you're going to be the guy that he is today and get to where he was and get to where he is. You don't have a choice. You have to do it. Straight up. So it's a must-do thing. But it'll blow over, and when it does, it'll be fine. And I just hope something good comes from it. I'm not saying I know it will. I'm saying I feel like it should, and hopefully it does. I like Titus a lot. So we'll see what happens there. But all the best to Titus. Let's get him back in the ring. Let's get over this crap and move on to the next thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. There is news, and this is on the dirt sheets. This is nothing I've written about yet, I should say. Undertaker's WrestleMania opponent, supposedly, and take this with a grain of salt, man. There are several guys who have supposedly been ruled out as his opponent. That includes Cena, Owens, Lesnar, and Strowman. Okay. And someone's made the comment that maybe his opponent's not even on the roster right now. I'm like, what? Someone who's not an active wrestler. And they're talking about maybe Sting. And I'll put it to you this way. I hope it's Sting. Oh my God, I got goosebumps right now. Sting tweeted recently that he needed neck surgery. Dude, they don't need to go in there and have Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need to be like that. It can just be their style of match, and it'll get over. You know what I mean? Sting looked really good against Hunter at WrestleMania 31, and they didn't like go in there and go 100 miles an hour. Again, keep it simple, stupid. Watch your pacing. You know what? I'm going to call it right now. I still am hanging on to Sting versus Undertaker. And I'm going to tell you what, you announce Sting versus Undertaker, and you watch the buy rates go up for WrestleMania like never before. I think there's no thinking. I know this will be the highest grossing WrestleMania of all time. I'm serious, man. I mean, maybe the title match won't be what it could have been, or maybe who else would you have put in the title match, by the way? But I think that this has the propensity to become massive. And I love me some Sting versus Undertaker, so let's make that happen. You've seen pictures of Taker online recently. He looks really good. Right, I'm going to hope that Sting continues to be in good shape. I like that they protect him. I like that you don't hear much from him or about him. I love that. They protect Taker too, but Taker's wife tweets and shows pictures and stuff. And that's not happening with Sting, and I love that, okay? You got characters like Sting and Taker. You got to protect those characters. Bray Wyatt. Bray tweets too, but it's all in character. You know what I mean? So You're not going to hear about, oh, I love the game last night. You guys watch? Hey, guys, thanks for supporting me. All right. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug. Oh, that's good. But, yeah, I love me some Sting versus Taker. I'm holding off for that, man. I mean, seriously, what else you looking for versus Undertaker? There's no one, dude. There's no one that could draw money that could face Taker. We're talking about Brock needing to have a top money guy. Well, Taker really needs to have that too, yes? It's not a requirement, but I mean, it'd be nice, right? So, I don't know, man. It's an interesting time in WWE. I've said that for months now, but I hold stiff and firm and steadfast to that idea, man. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. Fastlane could be huge. I think WrestleMania 32 is going to be absolutely massive. So we'll see what goes down. Have you had fun? Hope you've enjoyed this show. If you're guessing that we reached the end, you would be correct on that assumption. This is the end. This is episode number 45. Tom Clark's main event, by the way. Let's go ahead and start plugging, because that's what we do here. As mentioned before, my production company with good friend Kyle Smith, Boink Studios, our sister podcast, is called Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour, is available on Google Play as well as iTunes. Please go subscribe and download today. We welcome your feedback. We hope you enjoy it. It's just two old friends having a blast talking to each other, man. We've been doing this show for years. It just wasn't recorded. Not like this. So please go download, check it out. You can also check us out two other places for Boink Studios. We have a Facebook page. And as always, the cookies continue to be sent out. So go hit like and you'll get a bag of cookies. It's fun. They're good. Chocolate chip. It's good. It's not top shelf chocolate chip, but a cookie's a cookie. Stop complaining. So our page is there. Also, check us out on our website, tomclarkbr.wix.com/boink. All the material produced on that site is original material by yours truly. All the artwork is original artwork by Mr. Smith himself. The music that you've heard on this show and that you will hear on Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour is all original music done by a good friend named Philip Fender. Philip works under the Boink Studios banner as well. Feel free to reach out to us, and Philip is available for gigs, man. So we can hook you up. We are your hookup, trust me. So yeah, you can find us there. Where can you find me? I'm so glad you asked me that question right now. You can find me in a couple of different places. As always, on Bleacher Report, that's where I'm at. Just look me up there. Also on the highly esteemed Camel Clutch blog. And I have my own WWE blog, pro wrestling blog. It's tomclarkbr.wix.com/blog. Follow me on Twitter at tomclarkbr. Reach out on email if you'd like to, tomclarkbr@yahoo.com. There you have it, folks. That's who I am. That's what we are. That's what we do. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, this has been episode number 45. Go watch Fastlane. In the meantime, if you got any local pro wrestling coming to town, go watch you some local pro wrestling. Support the business. Okay? Keep this thing rolling, man. We want the business to survive a good long time. My kid's 7. I want the business to survive and be in good shape when he's 87. I'm straight up, man. So go out there and have some fun. Take your kids. Go see some wrestling this weekend. Watch Fastlane with your kids Sunday night. That's what I'm going to do. Again, thanks for everything. Thanks for your support. Thanks for emailing and tweeting, and thanks for reading and always supporting us here at the show and at Boink Studios. Your support is always greatly appreciated. We mean that sincerely. Thanks again, man. Thanks for tuning in. Please come back for episode number 46, and we will see you really soon, next time actually, on Tom Clark's Main Event.